Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this panel discussion entitled Seeding a Sustainable Future, Innovations in Seed Solutions. My name is Victoria Lawrence, and I'm the Managing Director of Germains Seed Technology. For those of you who are new to Germains, allow me to provide a brief introduction. We have been in business for over 150 years, developing innovative seed treatments. And these treatments have developed over time to evolve to meet the evolving challenges of the seed industry and growers worldwide. We pride ourselves on working closely with industry partners to ensure that we develop products that are thoroughly tested and proven in real-world conditions to ensure that we deliver true value. We are a part of a company called Associated British Foods, and we sit within their agricultural division, AB Agri. Both are long-standing businesses with global reach, and they are known for their dedication to quality and value with deep R&D capability. And we leverage that collective expertise to develop solutions that meet the complex needs of modern agriculture while upholding the highest standards of environmental stewardship. So where are we based? Our headquarters are in Kings Lynn, a small town in the UK, where we have production facilities and an R&D centre. We have 4 other production facilities strategically located in the Netherlands, Spain, and in the US, in California and in North Dakota. And we have 2 other R&D centers in Enkhuizen in the Netherlands and in Gilroy, California. Our global R&D teams work collaboratively to develop and refine our portfolio of seed treatments, which is increasingly diverse and increasingly customized to make sure that we meet each customer's requirements. In today's discussion, I'm delighted to introduce Dale Krolikowski, who is our Head of Business Development and R&D for North America, and Paul van der Wijngaard, who is our Head of R&D for Europe. We will be delving into the latest innovations in seed treatments, and we will be talking about the innovations that we've seen that combat abiotic stress and maximize nature's potential. And we'll also talk about how to forge strategic partnerships that help us move towards a brighter, more sustainable future. So thank you again all for joining us, and without further ado, let's dive into the discussion. So, it's very clear that one of the most pressing concerns in the industry for both seed producers and growers is the issue of abiotic stress, especially during those critical initial stages of crop development. And this challenge appears to be increasing as a result of climate change, which is increasing the unpredictability and variability of growing conditions and poses significant obstacles to achieving optimal yields. So Dale, coming to you first, how can advancements in seed treatment mitigate the effects of specific abiotic stressors like drought, salinity, or extreme temperatures on seed germination and crop establishment?
Very good. Thanks, Victoria. Of course, everybody knows that we prime seed, right? Priming is a way that you imbibe the seed with water and you start its metabolic processes to occur. And of course, during that process, there's certain mechanisms, enzymes that are taking place, different things that help the seed overcome abiotic stress. We develop different primings that improve that process, and we're also looking for ways to develop following the molecular biology pathways to improve how we prime seed and improve priming according to different species and specific seed lots. Biostimulants is another category that's being well used or currently coming out in the industry, and that's a way that we can look at establishing the crop a little better, establishing the root development at an early stage. And biostimulants are usually contained in seaweed, phytoextracts, humic acid substances, protein hydrosylates. All these different components help early root development, early plant development, and that's really key in strengthening that root to overcome climatic changes, abiotic stress, drought tolerance, and those kinds of things. But, the biostimulants can also come from bacteria or fungi, and that's going to be a common thing that we'll see in the future. Those help a plant to overcome its tolerance to environmental conditions. And, the biostimulants can also be important in nitrogen use efficiency and fertilizer use efficiency. And to that capacity, it's a way of making things more sustainable. We can't also talk about transgenics. You know, every breeding company here is working on ways to produce new crops that are more resilient to climate changes. We see that as a partnership. We see people doing breeding technologies combined with seed technologies to overcome the climatic changes and improving abiotic stress. Seed enhancements are, of course, playing a crucial role within the wider initiative for our global food security and our food supply. Boosting resilience to anything that nature's throwing at it is really critical. That early crop establishment, when the seed first hits the ground, that early root development is key in order to overcome the stresses and, of course, add to the bottom line of the grower.
Excellent, thank you, Dale. Paul, could you share with us some examples of successful case studies where seed treatments have effectively addressed some of the abiotic stress challenges in different regions, different agricultural systems, highlighting the impact on crop yields and farmer livelihoods?
Yeah, of course, Victoria. Like Dale mentioned, the biostimulants just now, and you see now already on the market very many new products that either contain biostimulants or other ingredients that support the crop in dealing with abiotic stress. You see this both from startups but also from established companies in the agriculture area that develop these products. Some of those already have seed treatment applications also, but we try to focus exclusively on dedicated seed treatment solutions which are crop specific to support crops during abiotic stress. And one of the examples, I think a very good example of that, is in our Go Seed platform, where we recently introduced spinach Go Seed in Europe. And you see when you use spinach Go Seed treatment that under abiotic stress such as wet and cold or hot and dry conditions, you see an increased crop establishment, which actually is carried throughout the whole cropping cycle. So you also see an increased or a more secure yield when you use spinach Go Seed also under wet and cold and hot and dry conditions, which provides the farmer with a more secure income, of course, in the end, when his yield is more secure. So this example, which you really see in practice, we see now also that farmers are recognizing this and growers actually start asking for, and we see an increased reputation of this product in the European market. Also in North America, we have a product in the Go Seed platform on lettuce, where lettuce Go Seed will provide you a higher establishment and a more uniform establishment, especially under hot conditions. So yeah, you see a couple of real life examples of our Go Seed platform where we can support the crop under abiotic stress, and we will continue to develop solutions like this within this platform for different crops, different stresses, different regions.
That's great. Thank you. So alongside specific treatments targeting abiotic stress, we know that getting seed off to the best possible start and accelerating growth in those early stages is hugely important. And furthermore, we know that every seed variety and indeed every lot is different. And we, as Germains, are committed to maximizing the potential of every single seed. We take it very seriously, and we develop custom seed treatments tailored to seed producers and dealers and growers' specific needs and challenges. So Paul, just to continue with you, could you tell me about some of the seed treatments which really give that plant the early boost, and how that can help with uniformity, and how customization can really contribute to unlocking the seed's full genetic potential?
Yes, of course, Victoria. Dale also mentioned in the first section, Dale mentioned priming. Actually, it was the first seed treatment solution that he mentioned. And priming, I think, is a excellent example of what you just mentioned, how to give that seed that very early good start and support the establishment there. And I think if you look at our lettuce priming product, Tempo HR, this is a very good example of how a priming treatment can give you more uniform establishment, more uniform germination. And if you compare Tempo HR treated seed to untreated, and even to some of the other priming treatments, you really see an increased early figure of the plantlets and an increased seed figure. So In general, actually, priming treatments give you a better early start of establishment, a better early start of the crop, and a more or a quicker canopy closure, which protects these very young and vulnerable plants against all kinds of adverse conditions during their early growth period. So there are examples of this, for instance, in leek, where it has been observed that this quicker early start protects the crop, and you get a better crop even through to the end. So we're exploring this and seeing whether in other crops we can also develop priming treatments that will give you a benefit throughout the whole cropping cycle. Of course, the big problem with priming treatments is, or challenge I should say, with priming treatments, is that they are not one treatment which we can apply to all different crops. So each crop species has to have its own priming treatment, and we often find actually that the different varieties within a crop even react very differently to priming treatments. As I just mentioned that lettuce Tempo HR treatment, where we actually not only on a variety base, but even on an incoming lot base, so the lot we get sent over from the customer, we apply a specific treatment to each and every different seed lot. So each seed lot gets treated with the optimal protocol for that particular seed lot. And I think an approach like that is very important and will be crucial to get the full genetic potential out of each and every seed in each and every seed lot. And I think our challenge for the future is to develop more of these treatments, maybe not even only priming treatments, but develop treatments that are really tailored towards either a variety or even to a different seed lot in a variety. And what I envision is a future where our seed treatments work together with the variety genetics to get the full potential out of each and every seed in each and every seed lot.
That's fantastic, yeah. So Dale, Paul's talked about how Germains customizes its treatments to each seed lot. Can you tell us a bit more about the variety of seeds that we treat at Germains and how we use our expertise in seed technology to help different types of customers and their diverse requirements?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, certainly we're trying to make very impactful solutions toward the vegetable growers, right? That's our key focus. But part of the real fun and excitement that we do is when we work on crops that are non-food plant related crops. You know, in these cases, the final product is an extraction, it's a biomass, it is some other issue or flower from the crop that then can be used for a human health or nutritional aspect. The real challenge here is these crops are just becoming agronomic crops. So it's not well established how they grow, how they work, but this is where our seed treatments come into value, because we learn a lot how to prime, how to pellet, how to do many different things with these different wild type varieties, so to speak. So the knowledge that we learn from that, of course, we transfer into the vegetable arena. And I think that's pretty exciting, because it's learning on unique species. At Germains, we're constantly innovating and trying to develop new technologies, of course. And you know, mechanical planting of seeds been around a long time, but how do you take that mechanical planting, that pellet, and enhance its capabilities? So here we've had some good achievements where we're adding biostimulants once again, or micronutrient sources into that pellet matrix in order to improve early root development, early plant growth. Because like we've talked about, it's super important to get that seed established early on in the conditions that it's at. If you can get good plant establishment, good root development, that's going to set the stage for how the crop's going to perform in the future. Mm-hmm. So besides the priming process Paul was talking about, like Tempo HR, we've had some unique challenges, you know. Crops like Swiss chard. Swiss chard's a multi-embryo seed. And farmers growing Swiss chard on big platforms the bad part is you'll get some of those embryos expressing later on in the next crop rotation. Now they have to pay farm labor to go out and rogue off those plants, and that just costs a lot of money. So we've developed some very unique primings that cause all those embryos to express themselves so that they don't have that future issue. So that's not only saving him money for farm labor, but it enhances yield because every embryo becomes a plant which becomes yield for them. So it's just unique challenges that we have in seed technology and priming. Then we talk about different and unique varieties, but we're also collaborating with a lot of very unique partners. And one of the things that we're looking at is this nitrogen fixation, nitrogen utilization. That's a big topic for everybody these days. Some of the innovative technology that we're working on has been on the NASA Mission to Mars program, right? Trying to reduce the amount of fertilizer that's going to be used going up into space at some point. So we're looking at bacterial endophytes and those components that are used to help the seed, the root, to improve nitrogen utilization. So that's going to be a product that we'll be introducing into the US market on broccoli in the near future.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
So sustainability. Of course, sustainability remains an essential theme driving our industry forward. And whether we operate in North America or in Europe, we have a collective commitment to delivering seed technologies that address seed or field challenges and contribute to our customers' broader sustainability objectives, including, of course, financial sustainability. So, Paul, help us to understand how seed treatments contribute to more resource-efficient, sustainable agricultural practices, such as minimizing water usage, minimizing chemical inputs, and helping with soil degradation.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about spinach go seed, of course, and how that helps combat abiotic stress by the plant, how it supports the plant in that. And what actually happens is if you do this go seed treatment, you get more resilient plants, and that's why they can sustain this or combat this abiotic stress period. Now, the next step in development, next step for us to figure out is if these more resilient plants also can do with less crop protection chemicals. Mm-hmm. I think we can further explore whether we can support the natural resistances that are there in plants in general, or in the several varieties that the breeders introduce. And when we are successful in that, when we can build further on this platform, we may be able to apply a seed treatment like spinach go seed, and then further reduce the use of crop protection chemicals, which is not only a resource, which not only reduces the resources, of course, but also reduces the use of chemicals in agriculture. So I think that is one area where we can contribute with seed treatments. And I think Dale already mentioned just now nutrient resource or nutrient use efficiency. And I think that is another area where we can explore, and we're currently actually looking whether we can develop seed treatments that will increase the nutrient use efficiency of the plant. Mm-hmm. And also there, if we are successful, if we can develop these treatments, we can limit the amount of resources that are needed. We can grow the same amount of yield with less fertilizers. We can use the same fertilizer regime, maybe increase the yields on the same amount of land. So there's multiple opportunities there to reduce resources needed for agriculture. And finally, a well-known area of seed treatments that we're already doing are, of course, the hygiene treatments where we disinfect seeds. When you disinfect the seeds, you don't have to discard them. And that, of course, also directly reduces the amount of resources that you need to grow these seeds.
Yeah, minimizing waste.
Minimizing the waste, yes.
Excellent. And Dale, can you elaborate a bit on how seed technologies contribute to the overall sustainability of the seed industry and the growers that we all serve?
Absolutely. I mean, when I think about sustainability, it's about how do we help everybody reduce their inputs. Growers are already faced with farm labor crises, the cost of fertilizer, the cost of the land, the lease, the fuel to run your tractors, all of those inputs, much less the cost of the seed and the genetics, right, is driving up the cost of produce in general. What we have to be very cognizant of is how we can help our seed treatments establish that early plant development, overcome stress, overcome pest and disease resistance, and help, perform a stand that then produces a good yield. Through that kind of innovative work, we can help keep produce costs low for everybody. And that's kind of the whole goal of our sustainability program, right? Germains, we of course provide coated pelleted seeds in many different cases. Mechanical planting super important to get a good stand, good spacing between plants. There's many cases where we're actually overseeding, overusing seed, and the more we can help growers get good plant establishment with to stand, that'll help reduce the cost of seed cost and reduce just the total input into farming. We've all talked about priming multiple times, and we talk about it a lot because it is a key technology in order to improve speed of emergence, uniformity, canopy development, root growth, all of those things that just establish at an earlier stage. Priming, of course, also can help a seed germinate with less water. That's part of, you put it through the metabolic process, it's ready to germinate, so it can use slightly less water during that process. So that's good towards water reduction. Now, when it comes to sanitation, absolutely, like Paul expressed, everybody producing seeds, it's hard to control how much saprophytic fungi or bacteria are come onto the seed lot at the end stages of harvest. So a lot of times a seed producing company might lose a lot of seed, throw that away. So when we have unique disinfection technologies that can help recover those seed lots for sale, that can also help them maintain market share. Perhaps it's a new variety going into the market, and if they don't have that seed available, they're struggling, right? So our technologies help overcome that. So it's a way to help lower the cost of crop production, right? Because you don't have to repeat it and do it twice. When we talk about the bacterial endophytes again, and those kinds of products, these nitrogen-fixing bacteria that are we're going to all hear a lot more, whether they're foliar applied or seed applied or soil applied. It's really important that we can help reduce not only the input cost of fertilizer, but reduce contamination of excess nitrogen into wells and drinking water. That's a big issue these days, so we want to help do that as well. Various biostimulants are going to be thrown onto the market with other technologies, right, that help us reduce the stress, nitrogen use efficiency, and improve growth and development. So the stresses we're targeting, especially in the U.S., is salinity stress due to water access, water migration, and salt stress, drought stress, of course, and heat stress. Those are the primary abiotic stresses that we're targeting with any of our nitrogen use or bacterial endophytes or biostimulant applications. All of these technologies are going to play a really crucial role in that early crop development and the quality of the crop that's going to come out of the ground. The more that we can save those input costs, then once again, lower profitability better profitability for the grower is better food value for us. So.
Excellent. Thank you. So moving on to our fourth and final topic around collaboration. Right? We know that it's absolutely key if we really want to maximize nature's potential. And we believe in partnering with industry players at Germains, and around, you can see a lot of the collaboration happening here as well. We collaborate with breeders, with growers, with universities, with institutions to foster innovation that delivers some real value. And we can gain insights, we pool resources to help us develop these innovative, transformative seed technologies. So Paul, talk to me a bit about how the strategic partnerships facilitate that knowledge exchange and give us access to complementary resources like new chemistries or agronomic expertise to help us developing those seed treatments.
Of course. I think that in Germains we need to focus on our core strengths in seed technologies because we're just very, very good at it, right? I'm also strongly convinced that we cannot look just inside the classical seed technologies. We have to look outside at the innovations going on there. And there are some very exciting innovations going on in ingredients, in chemistries, that can actually support a crop. Those innovations are going on both inside agriculture but also outside of agriculture. And not all of them have seed technology applications yet. So I think for us to partner up with the companies that develop these new chemistries, new ingredients, I think that is the way we can really, really develop innovative concepts for seed treatments. and how we can develop future-proof solutions for the problems we have now already, but also for the problems that are still to come. And like you said, it's not only about ingredients and chemistries, it's also about knowledge, agronomic knowledge. How do these ingredients actually support the plants in coping with stress, coping with pests and pathogens? I think that knowledge is also crucial for us to have, for our partners to have, and therefore in our R&D strategy, knowledge partnerships are definitely also an important part of the strategy. And finally, of course, between Dale's teams and the teams in Europe, at our different R&D centers that you mentioned right in the beginning, we work very closely together. We share findings, we share knowledge we have, but we also work together on projects, and we coordinate these external partnerships also together between the different R&D centers. So I think partnerships all over are crucial for the future of R&D in Germains.
Great. And Dale, could you share a couple of examples of some successful collaborative projects and talk a bit about some of the lessons we've learned?
Sure. You know, that the ag industry is ripe for, investment, and there's tons of people out there throwing money, tons of startup companies that are looking to introduce their products into the market. The process of screening countless seed treatments is overwhelming. There's no question that we all could take a lot of time screening individual things and may not find anything that really has agronomic value. So, that's where the process of co-collaboration comes into play, right? How do we work together to build some sort of partnership where both parties really are invested in the outcome, right? Rather than simply handing off samples and having somebody test efficacy, it just doesn't work that way. You need to share in the knowledge, you need to share in the information, share in the research part to ensure that the products that we develop will be beneficial in the end. When we co-create with seed producers, that's one of the exciting parts, right? We acknowledge that they have expertise in their genetics. We acknowledge that their expertise in how they test their seed, how they determine vigor, how they determine usable plants, their disease resistance profiles, that's all valuable information. So we like to confidently share all the information. How are we testing? How are we performing against their test? Because the important part there is that we share that information so that we actually produce something that's in alignment with their product demands, right? When we also co-create and collaborate with others, we all usually begin with a non-disclosure agreement, right? We want to make sure that your IP is protected, our IP is protected, and we're both in it for the same reasons. We want to achieve the best value we can together. So when it comes down to starting with an NDA, making sure that our product solutions are aligned, we develop a scope of work, right? And we agree upon the objectives together, and we have continuous follow-up with meetings to share the results, share samples back and forth, and make sure that we're all meeting the common goal to produce a seed treatment that's viable. Our best collaborations begin with those non-disclosure agreements and move on to more commercial agreements in the end. A primary example from our past is when we developed our Ultim product, which is a Pythium protection product. We collaborated with the chemical suppliers up front to understand how the compounds were going to work in the environment that we were going to do, how the chemical formulation was all going to come together as a seed treatment to make it viable. And that was a good collaboration on our part. When it comes to our parent company, Associated British Foods, as you mentioned, Paul and I both sit on a global innovation group. This really exciting group because it's researchers from leading industries that are both in formulation, chemistry, microbiology, human health, plant and animal nutrition, all come together from the R&D standpoint to understand how can we help each other through all of these industries by understanding what we do and sharing in that technology. So that's about a dozen of ABF's most technical subsidiaries coming together as one.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for your thoughts on these exciting topics. Just to remind our viewers, this is Dale Krolikowski, this is Paul van der Wijngaard, and I'm Victoria Lawrence from Germains Seed Technology. where our mission is to maximize nature's potential. We'll be here for the next few minutes, so please feel free to come and talk to us if you have any questions. Otherwise, we are going to leave it here and enjoy this excellent conference to learn and collaborate and be inspired by all the brilliant technologies and people that are here, so we can work towards seeding a more sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Great job. Good job. We ran long. Yeah.
Well done.